Britain's greatest king. The guy who saved the entire nation, won impossible battles, and built a legendary empire from scratch. Pretty epic, right? Here's the thing though, history didn't say a single word about him for 300 years. Like, nothing. So that kind of makes you wonder, did King Arthur actually exist? Or was he just the king Britain needed to believe in when things got really bad? If Arthur really did all these insane things, defeating armies, uniting Britain, ruling as this legendary king, you'd think somebody would have mentioned it, right? But no. No Roman records. No British chronicles. Not even a single battle report with his name on it. For 3 whole centuries after he supposedly lived? Radio silence. And then, out of nowhere, Arthur just appears, but not in history books. In poems, he shows up as a warrior character in a story, not as some documented king with dates and battles we can verify. So, who actually created him? And why did he appear when Britain needed a hero? Here's the context you need. Arthur's legend takes off when Britain is completely divided, invasions, chaos, zero stability. Things are genuinely bad. When people are scared and don't know what's next, they need hope. They need something to hold on to. A story about someone who beat the bad guys. So this story starts spreading. There was this warrior who protected Britain. This leader who'd come back during the nation's darkest hour. Not just a king, a promise. A guarantee that everything would be okay eventually. But here's the question. Was Arthur a historical figure, or was he basically propaganda? A story created to keep people from losing it? When Arthur finally makes it into actual written records, he's not even called a king. He's listed as a warrior, a battle leader who won 12 major victories. But here's where it gets sketchy. A lot of these battles happened in places that don't even make sense geographically. The distances are impossible, and there's zero physical evidence. No weapons, no fortresses, no graves, nothing you could dig up and say, yeah, Arthur was definitely here. He's this perfect hero, but real history? Real history is messy. It leaves traces. This doesn't, which makes you think, was Arthur even one guy? Or did people just mash together a bunch of different warriors into one legendary name? Fast forward a few centuries, and something interesting happens. Arthur gets an upgrade. He's not just some warrior anymore now, he's a full-on king. He's got a crown, a castle, this whole royal court setup. So, why the glow-up? Because medieval rulers needed legitimacy. They needed people to believe they had the right to rule. And what's better than saying, oh yeah, I'm descended from the greatest king who ever lived? Instant credibility. Arthur wasn't just a legend at this point. He was a political move. A fictional ancestor that real monarchs could claim to make themselves look legit. Pretty genius, honestly. And the later the stories get, the more perfect Arthur becomes. It's actually kind of wild. Suddenly he's got a magic sword. There's this golden age where everything was amazing. The round table shows up where all the knights are equals. This isn't history. This is straight up fantasy, but it's fantasy with a purpose. Arthur became this blueprint for the ideal feudal society. A king who's always fair, knights who are loyal. A kingdom without any of the BS that real kingdoms had. Arthur turned into a model, not of what Britain was, but what rulers wanted people to think it could be. He wasn't a memory of the past, he was propaganda for the future. Here's the thing, Arthur isn't unique. This pattern shows up across tons of different cultures. A lost king, a golden age that's gone, a promise that they'll return someday. The once and future king. These myths always pop up when nations are going through it, when they're threatened or dealing with an identity crisis. They're not describing what actually happened. They're creating identity, They're giving people something to rally around. Arthur wasn't just a person if he even was a person at all. He was a story Britain told itself about who it wanted to be. Some historians have this theory that's actually pretty interesting. What if Arthur wasn't one specific guy, but bits and pieces of several different war leaders? Like, there were real battles, real warriors doing impressive stuff. But over the years, all those stories got merged into one name. One legend. Not a king, but a symbol built from fragments of actual history. A greatest hits compilation, basically. It would explain why the details don't line up, why there's no evidence of one person, but why the stories feel like they're rooted in something real. So if Arthur never actually ruled, never wore a crown, never built Camelot or had knights sitting at a round table, why has this story lasted for over 1,000 years? Because here's the thing, facts create records, documents, data. But stories? Stories create nations. They shape how people see themselves. Arthur didn't need to be real to change history. People believed in him. And that belief influenced kings, started wars, shaped entire national identities. The story became more powerful than the truth ever could have been. So yeah, the mystery isn't really, was King Arthur real? The real mystery is, why did Britain need him to be? And if one nation could create an entire king out of thin air, out of poems and legends and political necessity, how many other historical figures were born exactly the same way? Makes you think about everything you learned in history class a little differently, doesn't it? So, how many other things that you learned in history class are just stories? Drop your theories in the comments. I actually read these, and the wildest ones might become videos. And if you want more deep dives into legends that might be total fabrications, hit subscribe. Catch you in the next one.